In the studio today, I've got local singer-songwriter Michael Buining. I think that's correct, Michael. Is it Michael Buining?
That is. How are you, John?
I'm good. His latest project is the three-piece outfit, the Roadhouse Regulars. And they've got a debut album out called Redemption. Michael, before we start, what about you picking a track from the album Redemption and telling our listeners something about that particular track?
Yeah, sure. Well, the album as a whole is it's kind of semi-autobiographical, and it's intended to be as a concept album, right? You know, everything tells a story that strings together. And this song that we'll play, God Only Knows, is probably the last song that I wrote as the album came together. And there was a bit of a hole in the album in terms of just the style of songs. And I guess a couple of things came together. One of them was I'd been listening to some unplugged versions of AC/DC and I was listening to Hell's Bells, and I thought, I want something that's got that kind of driving rhythm and strength to it. And I thought that fits the hole in the album. That's kind of where the rhythm came from. And once I kind of had that rhythm, the words and the I guess the visual idea of the song came out pretty quickly. And it's a bit of a heavy song. I've known 12 guys that have killed themselves, and it's a song that sings of depression, and so it's a pretty heavy song. And I just hope for people out there that are hurting, it kind of, if nothing else, it's some empathy that there's plenty of people out there that feel the way that you do. You're not alone. So this is God Only Knows, and it's a pretty heavy track, but it's one that I think typifies the style of the Roadhouse Regulars in terms of the rawness of it. And I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, let's have a listen to God Only Knows from the album Redemption from Michael Buining and the Roadhouse Regulars. Got on your nose there from Michael Buining and the Roadhouse Regulars. Michael, what about telling us something about Michael Buining and the Roadhouse Regulars? A bit of a musical bio.
Yeah, well, the band started off very much as a recording vehicle, and it's just going into live performing, and it came off the back of my last album, which I'd recorded, which was quite eclectic in the songs that was on it. There was rock, blues, country, folk. It was really quite eclectic, and it was quite heavily produced. And for my next album, I said I want to write something that I can reproduce live, that is just simpler and has a rawness to it, and has a coherency in terms of the style and the theme. So really was an album that I had quite an idea of what I wanted to create when I wrote the songs and was recording it. And that's how the album came about, and then the Roadhouse Regulars really was spun out of the guys who played on the album. That's how it came about. I wanted to find a sound that was a little bit different, and a lot of the tracks don't have any bass guitar in it. And although it's got, which is a bit unusual when you've got those big rock drums, because the bass guitar polishes the drums. So without the bass guitar, you end up with this loose rawness of the drums. And at the same time, the acoustic guitars, they're not kind of played in this jingly jangly kind of style. They're being hit really hard like you play an electric guitar, but obviously without all the distortion and the effects and the volume. And of course, you don't have the bass that fills out the bottom of the acoustic guitar, so the whole sound is a little bit loose and raw and unfinished. So that's a bit of a defining sound of the Roadhouse Regulars, which I'm quite happy with how it's come out.
I think it comes out well, actually. Well, yeah, I mean, your description of it being raw, I think that's what captures it.
Yeah, I think the producer was a little bit nervous when we finished it. He's going, we experimented with putting bass in it and polishing it, and I'm going, nah, it kind of loses it. And I think he was a little bit nervous, going, people are going to kind of think that he hasn't done his job properly. I'm going, nah, man, you've done your job just right.
Look, Michael, you're a man of quite some talent in the financial marketing game, more than one musical project, writing books, I notice.
Got a few.
A connection.
Sold almost none.
A connection with board games that I can't quite work that one out. And then finding time to motorbike across Route 66 in the US and out to the Silverton Hotel and back in Oz. Yeah. Are you searching for a niche, or do you think you might have found it in music?
Oh my God! Well, I don't know. It's I like having, as you said, I like having my fingers in lots of pies, and I love a bit of diversity.
String to many bows.
That's right. But music's my passion. That's really what I get really lost in, and I just love it. Performing live is great. The studio, that's a real special time when you can create things in such a collaborative way that you can't. I don't know of an environment where you get that pure collaboration, except in the studio.
More than a few of your songs, I notice, and in fact the new album title could have what might be described as a religious connotation. Are you a religious man?
Well, I was, and I guess the album was written, and the stories that it tells from a pretty tumultuous time in my life when I'd been working at the same place for 20 years and pulled the pin on that. I'd been offshore for 10 years and came back home. And I had been heavily involved in the church for a long, long time and gave that away. So there was a lot of things changing in my life, and so there are quite a lot of religious connotations in the songs. And if nothing else, the religion and spirituality is a beautiful source for songwriting because it speaks to so many strong themes, love, sin, life, death, passion, glory, all those things.
You're talking about the Old Testament there.
Talking about the Old Testament, that's right.
Real fire and brimstone.
That's right. It's a great hunting ground And even if you don't believe, it's a very rich piece of literature, if nothing else, to draw upon.
Very true, it is actually. How about picking another track from the album Redemption, and again telling us something about that particular track?
Yeah, well, this one, this is Love on Fire. It's a very bluesy track. The shape's a bit of a classic 12-bar blues, just with a little different turn at the end. I wrote it pretty quickly, the actual song, and it's a love song, and it's about being hooked by a love that changes you and you can't turn back. Can't go back now. I've been burnt for life. The thing that was interesting about this song was, obviously, we all love the blues. I know you love the blues, and there's so many different ways you can play our blues song. Fast, slow, intense, laid back, beautiful framework to play with. And this one, we kind of experimented a little bit, and in the end, we stripped it right back. And the music is a little bit inspired by a quite obscure musician called Morton Feldman, who was a minimalist composer and wrote the music for the Rothko Chapel. It's very obscure, but his piece, it's this abstract minimalist music, late 20th century.
Is he sort of Philip Glass style?
A little bit like that, yeah. And one piece in particular that I heard was like on 2FC, when 2FC existed years ago, and he'd play a note on the piano and then 12 seconds later there'd be another note. And so I wanted to have that influence in this song, and you'll hear it. And the guy who played the piano is a musical legend, but he plays it so simply. Yeah, I think you think, oh mate, anyone can play that. But he, I think, has nailed it, and it's got these echoes of a guy stumbling around in a bar late at night as he stumbles down the keys or the steps.
We all know that one.
We do, don't we?
All right, shall we go with Love on Fire from Michael Buining and the Roadhouse Regulars from their album, I've forgotten the name of the album. Redemption, that's the one.
Lord, don't leave me. Don't leave me on my own. Don't leave me, Lord. I said, Lord, don't leave me. Don't leave me on my own. Don't leave me, Lord. A lonely rose grows and then it's gone. There's a story to be told, thorns to kill, a scent to thrill, and it stands here with me and my stone. Lord, don't leave me, don't leave me on my own, don't leave me, Lord. Sweet eulogies, fond memory, every face I ever knew, lifted high with schoolboy pride and parade, out of the room. They dug me deep, they set my stone, they said goodbye. On my own, with me and my stone. I said, Lord, don't leave me, don't leave me on my own, don't leave me, Lord. I said, Lord, don't leave me, don't leave me on my own, don't leave me, Lord. Here I lie, I guess the Lord left me alone. That lonely rose, well, she still grows, but it's just me here on my own, with me and my stone.
That, of course, was not Love on Fire, was it, Michael?
No, but it was close. I think it was the track after Love on Fire. But I'm so glad you played that one, because there's the same pianist, and when the piano and the pedal steel comes together, I really do like it. It's a nice song. I enjoy. We really enjoyed recording that one.
All right, Michael, look, we'll try and recover from that. Your bio states that you believe that all music must start, and I quote, all music must start with a rhythm as the basis for evoking the listener. How then do you account for the success of artists like early Dylan, Tom Waits, John Cooper Clarke, people like that?
Yeah, because their stuff, it's not a strong rhythmic thing.
And Clarke doesn't have any rhythm in it.
Yeah, exactly. I guess for me, the idea of the rhythm is if you get a strong rhythm, you can keep playing that till the cows come home and almost have nothing around it, and it will just hold people's attention. Just a simple, like whether it's even the most simple rhythm, but it's strong, I think it resonates with your being, like your heartbeat, your breathing, your walking, the blinking of your eyes. Like that rhythm connects with you physically. And that, I guess that's why I approach a lot of my music. Not all my songs are like that, but the ones that, for me, that resonate the strongest, they generally have that. But you're right with other musicians who write things differently. And, Dylan, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for literature. Well, not the Peace Prize, sorry, the Nobel Prize for literature.
I'm glad I'm not the only one making mistakes.
I rack them up like you wouldn't believe.
I just find it intriguing that people can almost recite poetry, and depending on what it is, perhaps it's the rhythm of their voice, I don't know, that creates that. Because certainly, as I say, a Cooper Clarke, it is just really poetry.
Yeah. And maybe that is it. It's the rhythm of the voice and the rhythm of the words. Because I guess that's the art of poetry, is to create that. I guess what rhythm does, it creates a bit of a sense of anticipation. Because you kind of get that rhythm and you get in the zone and you kind of feel where it's heading. And maybe that's the rhythm that works in those for those artists.
You described the album Redemption as a concept album. Where did the ideas come from?
Well, as I said, they're all it's quite semi-autobiographical. So a lot of them are from times in my life, particularly over, I guess, kind of 2, 3, 4, 5 years, where a lot of things were changing at once. I guess another catalyst was I rode across America, like from Miami to Chicago, then Chicago to LA, with a friend he'd always wanted to do Route 66. I said, oh yeah, I'll do that, why not? And I'd lived in Miami for a while, so I flew in there to meet some friends, then rode to Chicago and then met him, and off we went. And so a lot of the sounds, the style, again the rhythms, came out of that trip. I guess that was a catalyst, I think, for the style in a lot of ways. And the title track on the name of the album, the Roadhouse Regulars, came about from a random line that I heard someone say in a bar, saying, oh, yes, she was a real Roadhouse regular. She was there to be seen. I didn't remember it at the time, but when I got back and looked at my notes, at the end of the trip, I kind of flipped the page and I saw that I'd written this down. I said, now that's a great line. I've got to turn that into a song. And that's where that song that track came from, and hence the name of the band.
Okay, look,
Yeah.
as I said to you earlier, I think while we were off air, I did have a look at your bio on LinkedIn. And it's a very interesting bio. That's where I know you've written a book, and
Yeah.
but that you've got some involvement with the game. But what on earth is Fridge and Cupboard?
Oh, Fridge and Cupboard. We can play Fridge or Cupboard now quickly. It goes like this. I'm going to give you an item of a food item, and you got to tell me whether it belongs in the fridge or the cupboard, and I'll give you an answer. So, are you ready to play?
Go on then.
Okay, fridge or cupboard, fridge or cupboard, fridge or cupboard, Vegemite.
Fridge.
Cupboard, sorry. Ready for
Why?
another? Oh, just because. Okay, ready? Fridge or cupboard, fridge or cupboard, tomato sauce.
Cupboard.
Fridge.
I do well at games.
Yeah, that's right. And that's pretty much how the game unfolds. It does have a sister game called Iron, Hang or Fold, which is what you do with tea towels and T-shirts, but I think we kind of know how that one's going to end anyway.
I mean, are you claiming to be the founder of this game? Or?
Oh, yes, I'm definitely the founder of this game.
Look, Michael, we might leave that one there. Well, look, what's coming up for Michael Buining and the Roadhouse Regulars in the way of, say, gigs and
there's a couple of things.
Newer projects.
There's a few things. I've had like some quite good radio airplay this year. So I'm going to be pushing that again into the new year. I'll have a new album coming out probably towards the end of next year. I turn 50 next year, so I thought, well, I better write an album for my 50th. And this one, it's about time I did a follow-up one to it, and it'll be similar in style, like some blues and roots songs. I've got about 5 of them written. Probably keep it a bit shorter, probably maybe just 5 to 7 tracks. So there's that. I've was invited to play at one of the festivals on the South Coast just yesterday. I won't tell you which one because they were like announcing their artists, but hopefully some more gigs like that, because the venues to play original music, they are a little bit limited, and most of the gigs that I do in the other bands are, you know, for corporates and weddings and 40ths and those kind of things, and generally they're less original kind of works than their other ones. So the Roadhouse Regulars, a bit more recording, a bit more radio, and hopefully a few more festivals and public events out there.
And if we want information on Michael Buining and the group, where do we get it from?
Well, there's a few sources. If you Buining is not easy to spell, Buining, but if you look up the Roadhouse Regulars, you'll find the band. You'll find my home website, which is the umbrella for the different musical projects that I've got. So either www.michaelbuning.com.au or the roadhouseregulars.com.au. Check me out on Facebook, and if everyone's been listening and you like the tracks, give me a shout out, drop me a message, and I'll send you a CD just to say thanks for enjoying the music and enjoying John's show.
Now, there's an offer you can't refuse. Just ring. I noticed Michael didn't give you a phone number there, though.
000. No, I won't do the phone number's on the website. But you just go to the Facebook page or my website. You'll be able to track me down.
Okay, look, Michael. To round off the interview, what about picking a final track from the album Redemption?
Should we go Love on Fire again?
We'll give it a try if you like.
We'll give it a try. Yeah. So this is the 12-bar blues we were talking about. It's a nice one.
Let's see whether we hit the right button this time.
This is the one. Thanks for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Michael. Perhaps when you've got something new out, give us a call.
For sure.
Okay.
In the firelight, goes burning bright. In the firelight, step a little closer, you'll get burnt tonight. Drink a wine, look into her eyes. Sweet temptation, I'm ridden with desire. treat her right, you'll get burned tonight. I've been set alight. Burn, baby, burn, baby, burn, baby, burn, baby, burn with me tonight. Love won't burn. I can't go back, 'cause I've been burned for life. Go back now, 'cause I've been burned for life.